Next game we got is the Dallas Cowboys traveling to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos, who are a 3-point favorite in this game after a close call victory against the New York Giants, where it looked like for three quarters the Broncos were out on their feet and were just, ready to get knocked out. But at the last quarter, you got to hand it to them. Sean Payton and Bo Nix were able to put, you know, just a crazy quarter together to come back and win that game. And they're going up against the Cowboys, who are coming off their best win of the season for sure in a dominant victory over the Washington Commanders. I think that for the Cowboys, it's really a tale of two units this year. Their offense has been just electric between Dak, CD, George Pickens. It really does feel like the NFC's answer to Joe Burrow, Jamar, and T, really, is what it looks like to me. And similarly, just like the Bengals, they're defensively challenged here. Without Micah Parsons, one has to wonder what this team would look like had they held on to Micah Parsons and what their outlook would be for the rest of the season. Broncos are at home. They're favored by 3 points, as I said. I think the path to victory is definitely going to come from the defensive side for the Broncos, being able to shut down Dak and this offense. Christian, what are your thoughts on whether they're going to be able to do that, and where do you lean in this game?
So Dak's done an amazing job. I think, after that poor performance Baker had this week, on Monday at least, I think he's got to be at least in consideration for MVP front runner. He's been balling out, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Denver looks very susceptible on both sides of the football. Bo Nix, we don't know about yet. Obviously, we love Sean Payton. He's a genius. But yeah, if New York was in that game last week, I have no doubt in my mind Dallas should put up a lot of points this week. And to me, this is the Riley Moss gets torched game. Absolutely look out. He's probably going to be shredded this weekend. And I'm keying on that matchup every play. If it's George, if it's George on Riley, that's like borderline hate crime. Borderline hate crime. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I really am. And then to that point, the offensive line has not been healthy for Dallas. I think they're getting healthier. I believe Tyler Booker will be in. We'll see. Javonte Williams' revenge game maybe as well. I like the Cowboys a lot. I think they're playing really inspired football. I think they all love Shoddy a lot, which, looking back at it, great hire. I think some fresh air, some new juice in the locker room was needed, and it shows. And I think, Cincinnati Bengals of the NFC for sure. And yeah, man, Riley Moss. I'm going to say a Hail Mary for him a couple times this week.
You're in rough shape if Christian is giving you a negative shout out. If he's shouting out a guy for how he's about to get torched this week and calling it a hate crime. So it's obviously clear where Christian thinks this game's going to go and how he thinks the Cowboys are going to take care of business. Turtle, what's your view on it? Where do you have the value in this game, and what do you think is going to be the result?
Yeah, I'm with Christian. I like the Cowboys plus the 3.5. I love the Cowboys plus 2.5 in the first half. We've seen the Broncos get off to really slow starts, and I know some books put out first quarter lines out there, so maybe that's another way to get at it. But I love the Cowboys to at least get off to a hot start. Christian mentioned I think they're going to go right at Riley Moss. I think they'll have their fair chance of explosives. And look, Denver's defense statistically is really good, but I think that they've shown some lapses throughout the course of the season. And I fully believe, I think this Cowboys offense, in my opinion, I think they're the best in the league right now. I mean, they've got a complete offense. Like Christian mentioned, they're getting healthier at the O line. And let's excuse me. Let's take a look and see who exactly the Broncos have played and what offenses they've played the last couple weeks. I mean, they started out the year against Tennessee. We all know what's wrong with them. They lost to Indianapolis, a good team. They lost to the Chargers, a good team. They walloped the Bengals. They beat Philly, who we know their issues that they had in offense early in the year, and they beat up on the Jets and the Giants. So I think there's some kind of false narrative or some noise in their defensive numbers just based off who they played, and this is going to be a much step up in class for their defense. Um, and quite frankly, I don't think they've looked all that great. I mean, we were talked about earlier, like you are what your record is, but they squeak by the Giants. Honestly, a game they should have lost. They squeak by the Jets. Honestly, a game that they could have lost in London. And the other teams they've beaten Philly. I think that's a decent win, but then they've beaten the Bengals and the Titans. So they really haven't beaten anybody this year. And the good teams they've played, they've lost to. And I think Dallas is a slightly above average football team. So line me up. I'm with the Cowboys this week. And yeah, I think Riley Moss is about to get absolutely baptized. I think in a handful of times in our group chat, I've texted Riley Moss can't cover anybody. And that was against the offenses that we just talked about. So yeah, he's about to get eviscerated, baptized, whichever way you want to describe it. But yeah, he's in trouble this week.
Mike, what are your thoughts on this one?
I hope his family's not watching this podcast.
Yeah. Riley Moss is not going to be a subscriber of the Bulletin Board Sports Podcast. But something tells me Mike's got faith in him. Something tells me that Mike is going to say, Riley Moss going to come up with a huge pick to seal the deal for the Broncos in this game based on how our analysis has gone so far.
If he does, I will eat a ghost pepper. You can pin it.
The ghost pepper pick is fading the Riley Moss game-winning pick 6. Fair enough. Yeah. Can we go any pick? Can we go if Riley Moss gets a pick?
You know what? Yeah, I'll do any pick except if it's a tip. Right. If it's a tip ball, I won't do it because that's just cheese luck. But if
fair enough. If he does a user pick, basically.
If he user picks it, no computer. If he user picks it, then yeah,
I will say my lean here is, I mean, if you're gonna get 3.5 points with the Cowboys, give that to me because the Broncos clearly are not firing on all cylinders after, what happened last game. That's a devastating fourth quarter to have to come back from. Javonte Williams has been a game changer for the Cowboys. You have a healthy CeeDee Lamb opposite George Pickens. Jake Ferguson, shout out Jake Ferguson. He's looking like one of the best tight ends in the NFL. The Cowboys are 3.5 point dog. Until they start getting blown out by teams and this offense isn't able to counteract, what that defense is lacking in terms of, a pass rush, in terms of coverage in the secondary. Right now I just don't see. I mean, the offense is absolutely humming with CeeDee Lamb right now. Yes, it was a soft secondary, and an injury to Jaden Daniels. Cowboys pulled away. But, I mean, this is a Broncos defense that got a wake-up call against the Jets. Just gave up the 32 points to the Giants. I mean, I think this is going to be the best defense that the Cowboys have played this year. The biggest threat I see is going to be how are the Cowboys going to react to what is going to be a relentless pass rush when, we've seen it with Dak. I mean, this team has relied on the big chunk plays down the field to CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I mean, it's going to be the best defense that, the Cowboys have played to date. But no, I like the Cowboys because until we start seeing Denver string together some convincing wins, you're going up against the top yardage and top scoring offense in this league. They know that their defense is not going to make it happen for them. They know that it has to get into a shootout. You're going to give us 3.5 points to the Cowboys when you also factor in a Javonte Williams revenge game. I know he tore his ACL, his rookie year with the Broncos, and things just, didn't go out, didn't work out as he thought. The guy is one of the best backs in the league right now statistically. Give me the Cowboys. I expect this offense to be firing on all cylinders against a Broncos offense that is not firing on all cylinders. We've seen weaknesses with Bo Nix. We've seen him turning the ball over. We've seen Sean Payton getting pissed off and all that stuff. I mean, this is a team. Sean Payton was in the media, trashing Russell Wilson this week. There's a lot of, outside noise that was going on, going into that game, and they got their asses handed to them in the fourth quarter. Tell me how you're going to come back from that against the highest scoring offense in the league with the gaining the most amount of yards. I get that they have a good defense. I agree. I think Riley Moss is going to get his ass handed to him. Give me the Cowboys at plus 3.5 and money line in this game.
Sean
Well,
Payton's going to have a bounty on Riley Moss after this game. That's what Sean Payton's going to do.
He's going to bounty on
you. Listen up, because you're about to get the what's actually going to happen in this game.
Professor Pat's knocking on the chalk.
Professor Pat
before you say Pat, just imagine, vision.
I'll manifest. What is it?
First play of the game, Dak shotgun. Looks both ways. George Pickens manned up with Riley Moss. Go ball. Immediate pass interference for 50-plus yards.
He will need help.
You could do that once a drive. Here's the problem, though. You're facing Matt Eberflus and that defense. And if there's a get-right game that is there to be had for Bo Nix and this Denver Broncos team, I'm not a Broncos guy. Don't get it twisted. I don't think that they're going to win the AFC West. I don't think that they even have that great of a chance to win the AFC West. I would almost, if the tackles are healthy, I would take the Chargers over them. So don't get it twisted. However, they do have a very good defense. Riley Moss could very well get cooked this week, but let's be honest about Denver's defense is that they are very good. The Cowboys have needed to score 37 or more points in all of their wins this year. And the one tie, they've needed 37 or more points. And when they don't score 37 points, they lose. They're 0-3. Okay, so this is a team that absolutely needs a shootout. And the Broncos, despite what happened this past week and what they needed to do to win, I think they're going to be riding high off that victory. I think, the rest of their season is in their sights. They see the potential that there could be. If they're able to string a couple of wins together, they were able to escape that game with the vibes being pretty high. Give me the Broncos to win this game to be able to, at the very least, somewhat contain that Cowboys offense and just absolutely shred Matt Eberflus's defense. I can't believe we're this confident in going with the Cowboys when, again, that guy's calling the defense. I just won't trust it until future notice. He could prove me wrong, but give me the Broncos to win.
At some point, they have to play 4 good quarters of offensive football, Pat. At some point, 18 points in 33 points. You think that happens this week?
I'm just saying they're facing Matt Eberflus. Okay, so
Cowboys first half. Cowboys first half. I think
Cowboys first half, but give me at the end of the game, give me Broncos to win, and give me Broncos to cover as well. I think that the defense gets right here, and it might not be completely pretty. You might have some Riley Moss go balls, a couple pass interferences, as you said, but on the other side, I just think that Broncos offense is going to be able to get right, and Sean Payton versus Matt Eberflus. Let's keep that in mind. Let's visualize that too, Christian. That's the matchup on the other side of the ball.
Can we give Matt Eberflus a shred of credit for actually having his DBs start practicing man coverage and them actually running it last game? That he finally showed some form of self scouting.
I'm never going to defend Jaden Daniels, but when you have some of the receivers that he was working with last week, I think you're comfortable going to man coverage.
Manned him up, yeah. I'm just
not exactly a bunch of man beaters there.
Who outside of Cortland Sutton do you like in Denver?
Give me Troy Franklin to have a game, bro.
Marvin Mims.
Hey, there are guys out there, all right. This team is This team, look, they're facing Matt Eberflus. Okay, their weapons are better than what the Commanders were working with
Sounds
last
like
week.
a lot of Chris Moores out there is what it sounds like, other than Cortland Sutton.
And all I'm
Exactly.
saying,
No disrespect to Chris Moore.
Yeah, if your family's watching as well.
Dre Greenlaw likely out for this game. I like Javonte Williams over. Bake that into the prediction for that. I mean, they've come accustomed to playing without Dre Greenlaw, but then you face the hottest offense in the league, buddy.
Mike's all over the Cowboys. This is a auto hit.
Cowboy Mike.